I am pleased to announce today that as a part of our settlement, we have negotiated $1.95 billion of investments that will predominantly go on our plants in Oakville and our engine plant in Windsor.
A tentative deal reached by Unifor and the Ford Motor Company. Fresh products for Oakville and Windsor. We break down that announcement tonight.
TikTok, we've seen a lot of comments about Judgy's stims, what they are, and why he does it, so we decided to make a quick video for you.
A Windsor man with autism has found viral fame after he and his family started sharing videos of his daily life, and now they're using that influence to help others. Go grab your pumpkin spice lattes. The first day of fall today. Doesn't look like it's that way outside. 23 degrees right now. Is that stretch of sun going to continue? Colette Kennedy breaks it down in her forecast tonight. I'm Chris Hensing. Thanks for watching. A monumental deal between Unifor and Ford Motor Company. $2 billion worth of investments for plants in Oakville and right here in Windsor. Starting in Oakville, 5 new electric vehicles, plus the assembly of the batteries for those vehicles. In Windsor, a 6.8-liter engine.
We know that our members in Windsor will be employed for the long term. We know that there will be incredible opportunities for young people in Windsor for quite a while. So am I feeling comfortable? The answer is yes. Am I quite pleased with where we ended up? The answer is also yes. We've come a long way in Windsor from our contract negotiations in 2016, where there was a cloud over that facility's head. That cloud no longer exists. We have nothing, I will argue, but a bright future.
A home run deal that will stabilize employment here in Windsor. That's according to the union. The CBC's Katerina Georgieva joins us live now from outside the Ford plant. High praise from the people who negotiated the deal. But what do employees think, Kat?
Well, Chris, it's a real huge sigh of relief for them. There was a lot of anxiety leading up to this moment. What was going to happen? Were they going to have to strike? But this really brings some comfort to workers. And I did speak with a few of them. Here's what they had to say.
I think it's really good news. The engine line is pretty busy already, and I think it will add already to the workforce. And hopefully we can get even more people hired. And I think it's good news for the future.
When you're only looking at 5 years left, and not knowing if you're going to be able to hit that 5 years because of the economy, because of the company, now you can kind of take a breath and say, okay, you know, with the announcement of the 6-8 in Windsor, our workforce that is aging is going to be able to retire, and now hopefully we'll be able to bring the younger people in, right?
It's a relief for all of us. You know, nobody wants to go on strike. It's stressful times. We've got, at our plant, we've got some downtime coming, so we were afraid that if we did go on strike, we might just be left out there for a while because we've got so much downtime coming at us.
And today's announcement comes after the strike deadline was actually extended. It was supposed to be last night at midnight. The company itself, Ford, says that it won't comment on the details of the deal until it has actually been ratified. And so the details of the agreement are going to members this Sunday to discuss just that. Now, I did speak with the local Unifor president who represents the workers about this. He also wasn't able to get into the specifics about how exactly it would affect each Windsor facility and the individual specifics about that, but he really said that it's all about the investment of the 6.8-liter engine. That product here in Windsor is going to guarantee jobs, new jobs, and it will ensure operations here in Windsor for the next few years. And it's really a light after some really difficult times.
When we think about what Windsor's gone through in the history of Windsor, we were down to just 1,200 workers, and from 6,300. So we recognize what it's like to be in trouble. And Jerry's made it clear, along with the leadership in our Ford Council, that we'll do whatever we can when we go to bargaining to make sure we have investment in our communities throughout Ontario. And this was no different in bargaining. We made sure we secured product so we get an opportunity for our kids to actually have jobs.
Big news locally here, but it seems to have a lasting impact on the national level as well.
Yeah, Chris, it's really indicating that there's something really huge happening throughout the Canadian automotive industry. That investment in Oakville of 5 new electric vehicles also comes with a $500 million investment from both the provincial and the federal governments to upgrade that facility so that it can build those electric vehicles. For more, I spoke with Flavio Volpe. He's the president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association, and he says that this deal really indicates that all of Ford's Canadian production is going to be geared around this product of the future, these electric vehicles.
After we saw the news last week that Ford had recommitted to Dearborn, Michigan for an electric F-150, I think a lot of us said, look, it's time that we play in the big leagues. And if we assume that companies like Ford are going to never move these flagship products outside of the U.S., then we're always going to be in the same conversation. And to credit to Ford, the federal and provincial government, and very much so to Unifor, that the major parties got together here, what I think will be a historic investment.
He adds that this opportunity to be a part of this electric platform piece of the industry is really huge as well. So things like battery chemistry, battery cells, power electronics, this really puts Canada in a really good position for that. So we're seeing this huge commitment from Ford in Canada. And so we still have to wait and see what will come from the negotiations with FCA and GM, with FCA next at the negotiating table. Chris.
Thanks for this, Katerina. The CBC's Katerina Georgieva live tonight. Now, tomorrow, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is set to do something that he's never done before, give a primetime address to the nation. Trudeau is expected to hit the airwaves at 6:30 tomorrow night, speaking to Canadians about his government's plan to deal with the pandemic as cases surge. And then it'll be the opposition's turn. You'll have to watch all of that online or here on CBC television. Big news over at Caesars Windsor. The doors will open in just a couple of weeks. Now, they've been closed since March, and late this afternoon, news that gamblers can hit the casino floor on October 8th, but the experience is going to be very different. No food service, no alcohol, according to the union, and everyone inside must wear a mask that covers their mouth and their nose. New barriers have been installed as well. Some more information you'll want to know: slots only by reservation, no table games like blackjack or roulette, 50 guests at a time, but it's not open to the public, just invited guests who are part of their Caesars Rewards program. Now, also according to the union, jobs are coming back as well. Close to 200 people, 83 of them have already been working, and the rest should come on board closer to opening day, October 8th. A Windsor couple experiencing long-term effects of COVID-19 are fighting back against people who question their condition. They're part of a group who call themselves the long haulers. And even though medical professionals recognize the after-effect symptoms experiencing are very real, as Jacob Barker found out, some people don't believe them.
Things most take for granted aren't coming easy to Anna Bennett and Ken Gerard these days. The married couple were among Windsor Essex's first detected cases of COVID-19. Their bout with the virus was pretty tough. What they weren't prepared for was how they felt after the virus had cleared their systems.
You're right in bed, like with the headaches, the brain fog, the lack of concentration, my hair's falling out. They say you're recovered, but you're not. Like, you survived the actual COVID, but your recovery, there's so many more symptoms.
Gerard never missed a day of work before the virus, but the continuing symptoms have kept him away.
I can just walk to the bathroom and it's like I've walked a mile. It's that intense.
The couple says when they talk about their symptoms, people often don't believe them.
We have family that doesn't understand it. We're faking it, we read about it, so we think we have these symptoms, and that's like really, really hurtful.
Well, there is, however, an understanding right now amongst medical professionals. The health unit says that there are a number of health issues that have been identified as long-term effects of COVID-19. Those are being studied right now. This doctor says none of her patients have seen long-term effects, but her colleagues have seen some. And it certainly is a topic of conversation amongst her peers.
The recovery period isn't just when the virus has cleared your body. It really takes weeks and months sometimes to really get your energy back, to feel back to your baselines.
She says the potential for long-lasting side effects are very real when it comes to any viral or bacterial illness.
It's, highly variable. Anything from chronic fatigue, just generalized weakness, to people having strokes a few weeks later when they have no other underlying medical conditions.
The couple says they would like to see more attention given to those experiencing long-term effects.
Like, I find they're doing a great job with what they're doing right now. But down the road, I don't think they're looking at that.
So I think they've got to start recognizing the long haulers.
Real personal look there at what it's like to test positive and then go through that period. Jacob, we posted this story to our website this morning. A lot of attention, a lot of feedback. What are people saying?
Chris, there's been a huge response from the public, lots of posts of support for the couple, but there are also some negative comments as well. People who are skeptical are questioning the virus and these longer-term effects in general. And while these public posts may not be the best place to look for supportive voices, Bennett told me she's found a group of long haulers across the country that can come together online and share some common stories, a place to find support and also to support others.
Now, doctors, any more advice for those that are dealing with those types of issues?
Yeah, well, Dr. Gao told me that a vast majority of those that have had the virus will not see these types of after effects, but they should be concerned if they do. She says the virus can cause inflammatory reactions, and so the long-term effects can cause other illnesses down the line. So if anybody has had COVID and is experiencing unusual side effects, it's important to let their family doctor know. Chris?
Thanks for this, Jacob. The CBC's Jacob Barker live tonight. And now that we've seen what it's like to deal with the long-term effects of COVID-19, let's introduce you to a man dealing with the virus right now. Brandon Wu is at Windsor Regional Hospital tonight. He never thought that this is where he'd be. 34 years old, bedridden for several days. He's sharing his story in hopes that others stay safe.
Well, I found out on Friday, and it was, honestly, it was the worst feeling. I don't want anyone to have this virus at all. Literally, it was the worst day of my life, finding out that I had this virus. It's not a joke. It's very, very real. And I want everyone to know that. I want to raise as much awareness as I can. Right now, I'm currently getting iron transfusions right now. I had 2 blood transfusions a couple days ago, and that's making me feel a little bit better. But right now, it's still been hell. The shortness of breath, it feels like breathing through a straw. It feels like my lungs are just literally just coming down. Emotionally, it sucks. Like I want to cry, but what else can you do? It sucks. I never thought I was gonna have it, but here I am. I feel like I feel like I'm gonna die. The last couple days, the shortness of breath is no joke. This COVID, this virus is no joke. It's very, very real. I've been here for almost a week now, and it's just, I'm getting better day by day, but I want everyone to know that, guys, wear a mask, wash your hands, stay safe. It's very, very real. You don't want to be in a hospital like me right now.
You can read more about his story online at cbc.ca/Windsor. Today, the Premier rolled out the first plank in the province's strategy to stop the surging spread of the virus. In Windsor, Essex, another single-digit day with 3 new cases, but provincially, today reached its highest number of new cases since early May, 478. As Lorenda Redikoff explains, critics argue Ontario needs Ford's full plan now before it's too late.
The first part of the government's action plan on COVID-19 for fall, urging people to get the flu shot.
It is so critical. Never before has the flu shot's been so critical. Someone has a runny nose, or maybe your kids have a runny nose, and right away it's going to backlog the system again.
The government says it's ordering 5.1 million doses, the first available later this month. It comes following another increase in cases of COVID-19. Today, Toronto recorded the highest number of new cases with 153. Peel had 95, and there were 90 in Ottawa. The number of people in hospital is up to 82 compared to 65 a day earlier. 24 of them are in the ICU, 11 on a ventilator. It's still much lower than the hospitalizations we saw in spring. On Twitter, some doctors and infectious disease experts criticized the government, saying it has no plan and that more flu vaccines aren't what are most important right now.
So already this is too late that action is being taken. And it was extremely disappointing to see that this was the sole announcement.
If we lay it all down at once, the message isn't going to get out to the people.
Frankly,
this doctor says the government will have to take more drastic action. Unlike when cases rose in spring, this time the economy is open.
The population, unfortunately, has shown that vigilance and fear sort of had a limited shelf life and are no longer persisting into the fall. It's going to require closing the banquet halls, closing the indoor dining, things that people are saying and have been saying so that we can keep schools running and we can keep other essential services running in society.
The opposition repeatedly called for more action on long-term care homes, extra staffing and resources.
Experts provided a blueprint for exactly that kind of action months ago. Why has the Premier failed to act?
The province says 99% of homes don't have outbreaks. As for the rest of the fall plan, the government says that'll be released over 6 days. Lorenda Redicop, CBC News, Toronto.
Hundreds of thousands of people have been watching a young Windsor man's daily routine on social media. Judgy Michelli has autism, and he spent part of the pandemic posting videos of his daily life on TikTok with help from his sisters. The CBC's Katie Fraser spoke with the siblings who hope that the viral fame can lead to change.
Hey TikTok, we've seen a lot of comments about Judgy's stims, what they are, and why he does it, so we decided to make a quick video for you.
It was honestly just a video that I had taken because of something that I wanted to do with Judge, and I just made a video of it because of stuff that I had already previously seen on TikTok. And so it was a video of him painting a picture, and it just took off, and people literally were like, we want more content of him. Like basically, no more of you, more of your brother, bring him into the picture. So I started making more videos with Judge, and then those videos ended up turning into educational videos where we could, educate and advocate for autism awareness, which has been something that we have always done our whole lives, but now we're doing it on a social media platform. So that's been awesome. Ever since we got a phone with a camera, basically, we've been taking pictures and videos of Judge because he's so darn cute, and my friends love to see videos of him, and my family loves to see videos of him. So it wasn't anything out of the norm for him. Like he was used to us always having cameras on him. Out, yeah. It's important for us to normalize things about autism. Like autism looks so different across the spectrum. It's such a huge spectrum, and I personally feel like there's a lot of stigma around autism. Like it's people believe that it's like high functioning and like maybe antisocial. It looks like. But that's not always the case.
What has the reaction been like online? I mean, you have like over 8 million likes now on those videos. What are you hearing from people that are watching you all?
Honestly, the reactions have been really, really positive, which we are so grateful for because it's what encouraged us to keep posting videos and content. A lot of people have been grateful not only to us, but especially to Judgy for, being the hardworking individual that he is and showing them that their child, if they have a child or a niece or a nephew, brother, sister, cousin with autism, that the sky's the limit. They can, beat the stigma and still be an independent person on the spectrum.
Now, the family is using this awareness to raise money for Autism Ontario's Windsor Essex chapter. The nonprofit's annual gala fundraiser canceled because of the pandemic. A look here at Jackson Park and some of the fine things you can spot in Windsor Essex. Fall, the first day today, and Colette Kennedy will give us a look at the week's forecasts coming up next. Joining us for a live look at the weather is Colette Kennedy. Colette, a perfect start to fall today in Windsor, but for our friends on the East Coast, they're looking at something a little different.
They are looking at drastically different conditions. That's right, Chris. So we'll just take a moment and kind of fill you in on what's going on with Hurricane Teddy. And first of all, yes, you can see what's going on with the radar, but just looking at the satellite, how broad the perspective is with this hurricane. But I will say it's very difficult to find a positive note in here, but there is actually something we can find. It's hard when we're talking about 15-meter waves and we're talking about over 100 millimeters of rain in here and erosion as well. And it was right around this time last year that Dorian was moving through the Atlantic, but the one caveat is that it has been such a dry season. The summer season for Atlantic Canada, specifically for Nova Scotia, has been incredibly dry and drought. So they are at least getting some moisture that they can use. Now the ground may be somewhat hard, that it's going to be hard to absorb some of it. So that's the one positive thing we could see. Category 1 hurricane, but they're feeling the effects of it certainly with the rain bands that have been moving in and the strong winds that are beating against it. But it will be moving through somewhat rapidly and continuing to push almost due north here, coming up through. It's going to be moving along the northern peninsula there. You'll be seeing of Newfoundland as it pushes through. All right, now talk about the contrast. High pressure back here in place around the Great Lakes, and that's what's giving for the first day of fall today the gorgeous conditions. So 20 degrees, the current temperature, Chatham-Kent, 19 degrees. Those winds still generally coming off the lake there with that flow that's kind of a south to southwesterly flow. A few fair weather clouds, that's about it. You may see with the sunset a little bit of that orange reddiness into the sky with the sun again, and that is because some of the smoke way up in the upper atmosphere, again, it's not an issue in terms of our air quality, but it has come back to us from some of the wildfires in the west. It has returned into our atmosphere. Looking ahead for Wednesday, sunshine, but that ridge of high pressure as it moves a little further towards the east, we are going to see into Thursday a little more cloud cover starting to mix in here. So that's just something to note, that things are beginning to change up a little bit. Overnight, milder than last night. We're talking about double digits for our lows, 10s and 11 degrees. I may be being a little bit optimistic here, going with 27 tomorrow, but just know we're talking mid-20s, warmer than today, mostly sunny skies. It is getting warmer. Our temperatures running about 5 degrees. I'm generalizing, but about 5 degrees above seasonal for our highs. And look at as we go through the period. Now, as we get towards Saturday, Sunday, we may well see some showers moving in here. I'm still waiting to kind of put that in as we're looking, as we get a little closer, as I'm watching the data, but that's kind of how it seems. It is going to end, but wow, fall.
Yeah, does it have to end, Colette? Does it have to?
I don't want it to, but it's kind of my job.
We'll take what we can get for now. Thanks for this, Colette.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, there's an elevator in Windsor that's been out of order for about 3 years, but the community has come together. Now it's an uplifting story. That's next. The Imam Hussein Foundation on Jeanette Avenue has been dealing with a broken elevator for 3 years, but change is on the way.
The elevator is extremely important for this type of building, especially that those that are coming into this building are from different demographics and different types of people and different ages, and parents and children and strollers, wheelchairs, everything you see coming into this building, because it's for the community as a whole.
Now, the elevators needed to access the basement and second floor. The center raised $40,000 over the past year. An $80,000 bank loan is going to cover the remainder of the repairs. They're fundraising to cover the cost of that loan, and the repairs should be finished next month. Schitt's Creek's cast had another reason to celebrate last night. The Toronto sign was lit in gold, honoring the domination of the show at the Emmys this weekend. Now, Schitt's Creek swept the awards, winning every single trophy in the comedy categories. It's the first series in the 72-year history of the awards to do so. The CN Tower also took part in the fun. Dan Levy even taking in some of the view. It's 6:29 p.m. and that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for more stories, you can go to cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media too. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Power and Politics is up next. We're going to join that already in progress. Thanks for watching. Make sure you and your family have yourselves a great night tonight.